Welcome to the session for understanding what is the value stream and how do you accelerate value delivery through the value streams. So, my name is Neeraj Bachani. I am based out of Bangalore, India, and I am the lead Agile coach for Agile Sparks India. I have more than 20 years of experience in the IT industry, and I started somewhere back in 1999. Somewhere in 2009, 2010, I moved into Agile and Scrum, and 2014, I moved into SAFE, coaching and consulting. I have experience training more than 1,000 people in SAFE and other courses in Agile and Scrum as well. So these are some organizations for which I have worked. You can see, they are mostly based out of India. And my experience ranges from domains like automobile, from semiconductors, medical healthcare, and Finacle, the financial institution software development. Okay, so let me start with something interesting that was shown by a person called Alan Ward back in 2004. He made a comparison of two biggest automobile manufacturers, Ford and Toyota, and he brought the data for the year 2000 and 2001. So he made the interesting statement about the number of recalls Ford and Toyota had. And look at the number of recalls Ford had in the year 2000-2001, roughly 30. Comparatively, Toyota had much lesser recalls. It was only 5. But out of the 30 recalls, most of them were manufacturing defects that Ford had. And the rest of them were design recalls that Ford had. Comparatively, again, Toyota had a very lesser number of manufacturing defects, but very, very less number, just one design defect. Look at the number of engineers that were also working for Ford and Toyota. Comparatively, roughly same, 300,000 to 250,000. But the most interesting aspect that he also made was the operating margin that Ford had was only 2.1%, whereas Toyota had a great operating margin of 6%. That means for every dollar spent, Toyota was getting 6 cents back additionally, right? And again, 6 years later, this data was presented that talks about the number of vehicles that are manufactured by all the leading automobile manufacturers around that time. So look at the data for 2000 when General Motors was leading from the front, creating the largest number of vehicles. Toyota was lagging behind at number 3. But 6 years later, Toyota became the number 1 automobile manufacturer in the world, bypassing General Motors, Volkswagen, and other bigger names as well. And till date, Toyota is the biggest and the largest manufacturer of automobiles in the world. So what does Toyota do so differently as compared to other automobile manufacturers? What is within their organization that differentiates them and makes them work so efficiently? So at the heart, they have something called as Toyota Production System, created by a gentleman named Taichi Ono, and they have focus on creating best quality in the shortest possible time, using the principles of just-in-time and Jidoka, in which people work to remove any waste in the system. All this is also based on the principles of Kaizen, that means continuous improvement, and stability provided by the leadership. But at the heart of Toyota, interestingly, is something being used which is called as the one-piece flow that I've shown in the diagram as well. That means all the people on the product line are together working on the single car that is being manufactured. That means everybody's focus is to finish off the work first and then pick up the next work in the assembly line. And that is how they maintain this flow inside their organization. In other words, the flow in the system is maintained using the value stream concept. Now, if you see the slide out here, the definition of value stream simply says all the activities required to transform the customer request into goods or service. The moment your customer makes a request to the time you deliver value to your customers, what are the various steps, activities, people, system that is defined inside the organization becomes your value stream. So for Toyota, the assembly line is more defined like a value stream. But in the manufacturing world, the benefit is that you can really see the work finishing in front of you. In the IT world, the problem is you need to figure out where the work is. And that's why you really need to go and define the value stream inside your organization. So this concept of value stream is not new. It was defined first back in 1990 by three gentlemen, Womack, Jones, and Roos, in their book called The Machine That Changed the World. And from there, it has now been absorbed by multiple organizations to go back and see how we can define the flow inside our system, inside our organization. So why should you have a value stream inside your organization? Of course, the very first benefit is to have a bird's eye view of where your people are, how are things flowing inside the system, and where do you find bottlenecks when the customer asks for value, and how do you deliver the value to your customer. So figuring out where are the people, are they overloaded, are they not, so on and so forth, gives you a bird's eye view from the organization top. The second benefit also is to look at how we can work together as a system, taking the principle of systems thinking, in which an individual department or a person, even if he's creating inefficiencies in the system, can be looked at, can be improved to make the overall system very efficient. And if you do not have a value stream inside your organization, these are some of the anti-patterns that you would also witness. So for example, in the IT world, there are multiple silos that are already present in the organization, and each silo may have friction with the other silos. Each silos may have their own ambitions, own goals. But most generally, the value definitely cuts across the multiple silos inside the organization, and that is where they all need to come together and define their value stream. That means all the steps required for the customer value delivery without getting the interference of politics or other frictions within these silos. And most importantly, it is also very crucial to know where your wastes are in the system. Now, again, Toyota defined waste in the system in the form of three, Muda, Mura, and Muri, in which, Muda means the person doesn't have much work to do, he's sitting idle. Or Muri, in which people are unnecessarily burdened with a lot of work, and sometimes Mura, in which there is an uneven level of workloads. So defining the value stream and then figuring out these three different kinds of waste inside the system helps you really remove these waste and create more efficiency in the system. When it comes to the IT world, it is also very important to understand how does your customer look at the value delivery. Now, for example, I had worked for a medical device organization, and they went ahead and figured out for their own nursing clinics and nursing homes and hospitals, how does a patient experience the journey as well as how does the hospital experience the journey of a patient by drawing out these steps that are mentioned out here. So for example, the patient would come into the hospital, get enrolled, get his analysis done, and get admitted. But towards the end, he would be discharged and the billing would be done by the hospital. So very generically speaking, these are some of the steps which the patient experiences when he undergoes a treatment inside the hospital. Comparatively, when you look at from the bank perspective, for example, a customer wants to take some kind of a personal loan from the bank. He would approach the bank through the various marketing channels, look at how the bank is offering various kind of loans, then work out with the negotiation terms, set up the loans, and eventually pay back the loan along with the interest, and then the loan is closed. Now, in this kind of a value stream, which is called the operational value stream, you can see the experience is both from the hospital and the patient, or the bank and the customer who's approaching the bank. It's from both the perspective. And that's why it is important to know how does your customer treats its own, how does the bank treats its customers, or how does the customer look from the bank perspective. That is where we need to go and also define the operational value stream. So in the previous example that I just showed, I talked about the concept of the operational value stream, in which we really need to understand how the customers or the end users of our systems look at, or how do they really experience the journey for themselves. And when you come to the IT organization, again, it is very important to look at what are the various development value streams. Now, what is development value streams? The systems that are used in the operational value streams to deliver the value to your customers should also be built with some kind of steps, some kind of activities, some kind of people, and that is what defines the development value stream. So if I segregate in terms of the IT supplier or the IT organization or the IT vendor, the development value streams will always reside inside the IT organization or the IT supplier. Whereas the operational value streams are more what the customers will experience for the end users. That's how you differentiate both of them, the operational and the development value streams. But like I said, to have better development value streams, you really need to understand your operational value streams. So once you identify the operational value streams, it is also very crucial to see what all systems will provide value to your customers in the operational value stream. Now, I'm again taking the example that I had previously quoted, where a customer approaches a bank to have some kind of a personal loan taken. And these are the operational value stream steps. And you can see out there, there are multiple systems that would be required to deliver value in the operational value streams. So for example, for marketing for the customer, you would need different kind of channels. You would need mobile applications, you would need desktop applications, you would reach out to the customer through hoardings, through different kind of advertisements. So all this will become part of the channel system. Similarly, the customer data is originated or filled up in the origination system, and any kind of customer history can also be coming out from the origin system. Eventually, the bank also needs some kind of a credit rating system to have better underwriting decisions, to know how much loan it can provide to the customers. But eventually, the loan disbursement and the loan repayment has to be done through a system called loans and payments. So these are the various systems that will support the operational value stream. And once you have the systems in place, maybe it is also a good practice to know how many people are required, where are they located to build up such a system. Now, in the IT organization, this is a very crucial step, because most of the times in the IT organization, people are scattered, people are not coming together, and this creates some kind of an imbalance in the system, thereby creating more waste in the system. So the IT organization should know where my people are, what are the various roles they are playing, and how we can bring them all together. And once you have these kind of people defined, the next step also is to know which are the development value streams we need to create. So in my example that I have taken, the channels, origination, and the credit system, since they are very interdependent kind of systems, we would need a single development value stream. That means we would need a set of people undergoing set of activities and processes to eventually come out with these three systems. Whereas for loans and payments, I would need to create a different development value stream. Because the way the loans and payment system is created is very different from the way the channels and the origination systems are created. Hence, I would have two development value streams inside my organization. And once I create the development value stream, I would now further go and figure out where are my teams, where are my agile release trains. How can I bring all these people together so that there are no gaps in understanding? They all work together to deliver value to the operational value stream which the eventual bank will use for its customers. So this way I bring in more efficiency into the system. I need to reorganize my organization in such a way that all these people are interacting more, collaborating more, and there are no gaps in the knowledge or misunderstandings when people are delivering value to my customers. So this is how you start from the operational value stream and you eventually arrive at creating the agile teams or the agile release trains to deliver value internally as well as to your customers. So if I also quickly talk about the Agile Sparks way that we use for any kind of agile or safe transformation, you can also see on the left hand side the kickoff. The last step that we have is the the organizational value stream analysis, because unless and until we do not understand how our end customers or end users operate, we will not be able to internally go and make changes or make reorganizations to better have value delivery to our customers. So finally, with all the discussion, all the details that I brought, this is the summary and the key takeaways that I have towards the end for you. So it's very important to come out and understand what are the various value streams in your organization. Now, generally in the IT world, the value streams may also correspond to product lines that you have, but that's a very generic rule. Sometimes you may need to have value streams that overlap with each other. So the very first step to bring in efficiency in the organization is to know how my value is flowing inside my organization. And that can bring in a lot of visibility, that can tell you where the bottlenecks are, and that can also tell you where your people are doing what. Right? And it's also very, very imperative to really understand what your customers and your end users experience. It's very important to empathize with them. Unless you do not have that kind of a feeling or an empathy feeling with your end customers, you will not be able to better design your operational value streams. Third thing, please identify both operational as well as development value streams. Some organizations just start with the operational value streams, but they do not have development value streams. Or some organizations just assume the value delivery and come out with development value streams without really knowing what our end customers are showing. And most importantly, last not the least, is to keep revisiting. How is the customer still experiencing value delivery? Is there any change in the operational value stream? Do we need to again reorganize ourselves internally to have better development value streams? Are there changes in the roles and responsibilities of people so that we again need to come out with a better development value stream? So on and so forth. So this exercise is not just one one-time activity. Most of the time it's done at periodic levels to make sure that we really understand our customers better, and we are also being more agile in responding to any changes that are happening in the market, thereby making changes into our development value stream as well. So that was the talk that I had.
Thank you, Neeraj. We have some questions.
Sure.
Which person or group in a company usually drive the value stream concept and associated changes required to kick it off and set it up?
Yes, great question. So when you talk about the operational value streams, it is generally the product management group that interacts with the customers, understands the flow of the customer, and comes out with the operational value stream. But when you talk about the development value stream, you may need to involve a lot of people inside your organization, including your leaders, including your managers, your your SMEs. so on and so forth, who can really help you understand where our people are in the development value stream and how we can reorganize them to better deliver value to our customers. Okay.
Okay, Neeraj, another question.
Yes.
How can you put an emphasis? Are there some difficulties versus the organizational structure in making the value stream?
Yes, good point. What happens generally is that, a lot of times the organizations find it very difficult to come out with the development value streams because, culturally, traditionally, they have always been operating in silos, or maybe because of the locational constraints, they may not be able to bring in the right set of people in the development value stream. In fact, in one of the organizations that I had worked, this became such a bottleneck that they had to leave the concept of the value stream and still operate in the silo mode, which obviously is not the best way and the efficient way to work in today's competitive manner. So yes, I agree. The organization or the reorganization also has to sometimes look at what kind of structure do we have and how do we break it to form these kind of value streams.
Okay, thank you. Another question.
Yes.
You talked about that when you see things, it's simple, but to identify the value stream is somewhat tricky. Could you give us some, thumb rules about how to identify it?
Yes. So some ways, in which you can look at the operational value stream is also to look at, what is the trigger point of an operational value stream. So for example, in the bank case, the trigger was that a customer needs a personal loan, right? So that's the starting point. Now, there may be other aspects that you may need to look at. For example, what is value delivery when we talk from the customer perspective versus, what are the value delivery from the bank perspective. So in the example that I took, the value delivery from a customer perspective is that he gets the loan. But the value delivery from a bank perspective is to see, did we get the loan closed along with the interest? So it's very important to define value from both the perspective. Plus also to look at what systems are required, what are the steps, how does value flow through. You need to have a deeper understanding of the whole domain to come out with a better operational value stream.
Could you elaborate about the relation between value stream and Kanban and how Kanban can be leveraged to optimize the flow in the value stream? And
Sure.
Can you elaborate on this because we have the time? It's okay.
Yes, sure, absolutely. So see, the concept of Kanban is again coming from manufacturing world, and like I said, the value stream is also from the same world. Both of them focus on flow. Right, so value stream out here is just to define the steps and the activities, but Kanban, because of the way it is structured, because it follows the principles of visibility and bottlenecks, it is very, very helpful to identify where is my work getting stuck or value getting stuck inside the value stream. So while value stream is just defining it, Kanban can be used very, very efficiently to know where the work or the bottlenecks are. Where are the imbalances inside the system? Now, for example, if my work is getting stuck at one, development team or development people, that means, there is a problem with the skill set, people are underloaded, overloaded, or testing is slow, so on and so forth. So both are used to define, but Kanban is used to catch where can we improve in that value stream.
Okay, so in an art organization, who would typically use this value stream Kanban?
Yes, so typically, if the value stream has been defined, say at the leadership level, at the portfolio level, then the portfolio people have to really make sure that the value stream is moving on without any distractions or any hindrances. But if the product management people are also involved at the value stream defined at their product level, they may need to use the program level Kanban or the product level Kanban to see how the value is flowing across the product. So it again, organization context depends where have you defined those value streams. If it's defined much above the product level, then like I said, yes, the leadership, maybe sometimes the customer also needs to get involved to see how value is flowing inside the organization.
So in the out level, I assume that the value stream represents the feature stream, right?
Yes,
Flow,
yes,
right?
absolutely,
So,
yes.
so this would be typically managed by the product management,
Product
right?
management, exactly. So if you see, Jilly, in an ideally defined organization, of course, the leadership would have defined it at the epic level, the flow, which is the value stream, and eventually it should keep trickling down to the product level, the ART level, then it comes to the feature level. Now, again, if it's everywhere aligned, the team should also see the flow at the story level,
Yeah.
and they can use Kanbans at all the three levels that way.
Yeah. So the team builds their own value stream and manages the flow within it with the Kanban,
True.
the flow of the stories, of course.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ami, have you another question?
I wanted to ask you if, in your experience, you had some occasions. I understand it's not, something very often done, but changing the value stream.
Yes.
So how does it happen? Because it's something that you create from the organizational structure, and then.
True. So value stream identification that I just talked about is different from value stream mapping. Now, in the value stream mapping, you generally identify how much time each step is taking. Is there any obstruction, any hindrance, and then you may need to change it. Right. So value stream mapping doesn't happen every day. It happens at a typical point when you feel that the value is getting delayed inside your organization. At that point, you may need to change certain things. So for example, a change in the value stream can also happen because you may introduce automation at certain points. Right. In that case, people may need to be moved out, or people may need to be added based on their skill set. Right. So again, then you kind of changed your value stream, or maybe, one of the steps that you can also include is to bring in, say, R&D or analysis in that value stream. So again, you need to add people or either take out people. So you will witness some changes in the value stream there as well, based on, what the organization is trying to achieve with the changed value stream.
Yeah, mapping value stream and identifying it and then managing its flow. It's absolutely a great tool and practice to improve efficiency and impact of the organization. So thank you very much.